Nearly 24,000 people moved to San Diego this past year, and 2026 is set to be another booming year for the city. But there are some key things you need to know if you're serious about moving to San Diego so you can thrive in this wonderful city. That's why today I'll walk you through 7 things you must know before moving to San Diego in 2026. From housing costs to the local surprises even lifelong residents overlook, so you don't end up making the wrong decision for your lifestyle. And trust me, number 7 will impact your daily life in ways you'd never expect. Let's talk about the part that hits people the hardest when they first move to San Diego, the real cost of living here. And this goes way beyond just the price of the house. The median home price hit $935,000 in September of 2025, according to Redfin. That's 125% higher than the national average of $415,000. And homes still move fast here, usually in about 35 days with multiple offers, because demand stays high and supply can never quite catch up. A lot of buyers think moving inland will save you some money, and yes, you might save on the mortgage, but those savings disappear fast once the other expenses kick in. Longer drives, higher energy use, hotter summers, and the lifestyle trade-offs all add up. And that brings us to the part almost everyone underestimates, the utilities. Water rates jumped 8.7% in January and another 5.5% in May. And they're projected to climb roughly 30% over the next 2 years, 14.7% in 2026 and 14.5% in 2027, thanks to infrastructure costs and the rising price of imported water. Electricity isn't much better either. At 38 cents per kilowatt, San Diego has some of the highest rates in the entire country. Most families end up paying $300 to $350 a month, and that number only goes up in inland neighborhoods where you're running your AC far more often. Put it all together, and utilities here run about 39% above the national average. And that's before you factor in the Pure Water project or any other new infrastructure costs that will continue shaping future rates. Now, a lot of people calculate their mortgage and stop there. But in San Diego, the monthly payment takes on a whole new meaning once you add in utilities, climate, and where you decide to live here in San Diego. The gap between coastal and inland isn't just about the monthly payment. And that's where microclimates come into play. And trust me, this affects you way more than just your daily comfort. Now, you might think San Diego weather is perfect, but you know what? It really depends on which part of San Diego we're talking about. Temperatures can swing up to 20 degrees on the very same day. San Diego County is basically 4 different climates in one place. You've got the cool, breezy coastal areas, the warmer inland suburbs, the hot inland valleys, and then the mountains and desert with their own extremes. Now, the biggest difference most people notice is between the coast and the inland neighborhoods, and that's where the daily comfort really changes. One area stays in the 70s and the other can jump right into the 90s on the same day. A perfect example, Del Mar versus Poway. Del Mar will sit at a comfortable 72 degrees in the middle of summer with that ocean breeze cooling everything down. Now, drive 20 to 25 minutes inland to Poway and you're suddenly standing in 92-degree heat with bright sun and barely any humidity. It's a totally different feel and your thermostat definitely notices the difference. In fact, a lot of places in Del Mar don't even have air conditioning. Now, here's where it ties into something a little bit bigger. Later in the video, when we get to fee structures, you'll see how some of these same zones can quietly add thousands to your annual cost through assessments most buyers never expect. But first, let's see how weather actually affects day-to-day life here. Coastal summers usually stay between 70 and 78 degrees. Winters hover around 50 to 60 degrees. Now, inland summers often climb past 85 to about 95 degrees with winter lows near 40 to 45 degrees. Humidity shifts from about 60 to 75% near the coast to 30 to 50% inland. But honestly, you don't really feel the humidity too much here. The marine layer keeps mornings cool along the shore, while inland valleys swing from hot days to chilly nights. These small differences directly shape HVAC costs and even property values, believe it or not. By the way, if you're new here, my name is Bern McGovern. I've spent more than a decade helping hundreds of families relocate here to San Diego. So whether you're a tech professional eyeing Sorrento Valley, a military family looking for a home near base, or just someone chasing that perfect year-round weather like me, I'd absolutely love to help you make the move. My contact info is in the description below, so don't hesitate to reach out. Okay, here's something most people never think about. You can start your day in 70-degree coastal air, drive just 30 minutes inland, and step into a 90-degree heat. That means dressing for 2 climates and paying utility bills that change with every zip code. And it's also why I always have a sweatshirt in my car, just in case. And speaking of commutes, that brings me to something that catches almost everyone off guard about San Diego traffic patterns. San Diego's average commute time looks fine on paper, around 24 to 27 minutes, give or take, but get this, that number means almost nothing once you actually live here. Now, the city's job hubs create a ton of bottlenecks that the data just doesn't show. Sorrento Valley alone has about 170,000 jobs and only 20,000 homes nearby. And that mismatch forces massive daily traffic waves in and out of the area. The 5 freeway corridor holds 11 of the 40 most congested peak hour spots in the entire county. Peak congestion usually hits between 7 and 9 a.m. and then again from about 4 to about 6:30. Now, during those hours, the average driver covers just 14.5 miles in nearly 32 minutes. That's only 27 miles per hour. And this is all freeway driving for the most part. Now, let's look at what actually causes these jams day to day, and it's not just the freeways. San Diego's geography, canyons, mountains, and the ocean forces pushes drivers into longer, indirect routes. Some neighborhoods look close on a map but take 15 minutes just to reach the nearest freeway. So being relatively close to a freeway is super helpful here in San Diego. And here's where public transportation comes in, or honestly doesn't. San Diego does have the trolley, the coaster, and the sprinter, and they've slowly improved over the years. And if you live along the coast or near downtown, Old Town, or UTC, you can actually get by a little easier without driving everywhere. But for the most part, you will still need at least one car in your household. Trust me, you will. San Diego just isn't built like New York or Chicago. The city is too spread out, and most job centers aren't connected by transit, at least not yet. And I'll say this, if I had my way, I wish they would build a trolley line along the 15 freeway. It would finally connect North County inland, places like Mira Mesa, Rancho Penasquitas, Forest Ranch, or Rancho Bernardo. And it would make it so much better. Right now, these areas rely 100% on cars. And if you're thinking about moving here, open Google Maps and check your route during peak hours. See how long it really takes to reach a job center. Those few extra miles can make or break your quality of life here, trust me. And even if you find that perfect balance between price and commute, there's another cost that hits every resident month after month, and it's rising fast. Now, there's a hidden cost structure in San Diego that can quietly add thousands of dollars a year to your housing budget, and most agents barely mention it during the buying process. Now, property taxes seem semi-reasonable here at around 1.1 to about 1.3%. Then you discover the extra fees that can tack on another $500 or more every single month. Melrose taxes range from about $500 to about $10,000 annually in newer communities. Pretty much anything built after the year 2000 likely has them, and they can last 15 to about 40 years on your property tax bill. It's one of the biggest surprises for new buyers here. Trash collection fees are now $43.60 a month, starting July 1st, 2025, with more increases already planned. And until recently, city residents didn't pay for trash at all. It was actually covered by your property tax bill. That changed with the 2025 law, and now everyone's paying for pickup. Although all the North County neighborhoods were already pretty much paying for it already. So now HOA fees hit a median of $277 a month across the county and affect 38% of homes here. Downtown condos can run $600 to about $1,000 depending on amenities and location. The tricky part is that HOA fees just never go down. A $500 monthly fee today could easily become $650 in a few years. Now, 91% of HOAs report unexpected cost hikes, often 5 to 7% per year. Melrose taxes typically last 25 to 40 years and are most common in newer master plan communities like Carmel Valley, Forest Ranch, and Del Sur, which have some of the highest impacted zones in the county. For example, on a $900,000 home with Melrose, HOA, and trash fees, the combined annual tax and fee burden can reach $15,000 to about $20,000 or more. And then we can add in all the rising parking fees. Balboa Park, meters downtown, feels like every cost in the city is creeping higher, especially this past year. And this matters because these add-ons don't just change your monthly payment, they redefine what affordable means here in San Diego. For buyers coming from other states, the scale of local fees can be a real shock to some people. Now, there's something funny that almost every new San Diegan deals with, and you don't really notice it until you actually live here. So many of our neighborhoods sound weirdly similar. And if you don't know the area yet, it can get really confusing. I know it was for me. First, we've got all the Torrey spots. You got Torrey Pines, you got Torrey Hills, and you got Torrey Highlands. And none of them are in the same place. They're close, yes, but they each have their own vibe, their own schools, and totally different price points. Then you hit the Rancho cluster. You got Rancho Penasquitas, Rancho Bernardo, Rancho Santa Fe, and that's just the short list. PQ and RB sit right next to each other, but feel nothing alike. And Rancho Santa Fe, that one is pretty much its own planet. And then you get the names that people almost always mispronounce when they first move here. You got La Jolla, not La Jolla, not El Cajon, it's El Cajon. Then you have Penasquitas, which pretty much everyone mispronounces the first 5 times. And for some reason, newcomers always confuse Escondido and Encinitas, even though they're very different from each other. And here's another classic one, Poway. It's pronounced Poway, not Poway, not Poway, and locals know instantly when someone's new based on how they say it. You also get neighborhoods with names that sounded like they were copy and pasted. Del Mar, Del Sur, Del Cerro, Encanto, Encinitas, San Marcos, San Carlos. And pretty much every city has a vista, whether it's the actual vista or someone talking about their backyard view. Now, San Diego has a built-in limitation that shapes almost every part of daily life, from how easily you can travel to what homes cost near the airport. And there's a healthy reality tied to it that most people never see coming. San Diego International Airport is the busiest single runway airport in America. The runway stretches 9,401 feet, which is impressive for an airport that moves millions of passengers a year. But that single strip of concrete is also the reason delays here are worse than almost any other major city. Now, when fog from the marine layer rolls in or Santa Ana winds change directions, Flights back up real fast here. Reversing to runway 9 forces planes to hold while taxiways clog with departures waiting for gates. Cancellations pile up, and because there's only one runway, there's no recovery buffer like you get at multi-runway airports. So even with the new Terminal 1 open as of September, the single runway setup still limits options and drives up travel costs. And geography makes it permanent. The bay on one side, the military base, and city development on the other. Expansion just isn't possible right now. A little while back, they actually talked about moving the airport and they put it to a vote, but it got voted down. There's also a strict night curfew from 11:30 p.m. to about 6:30 a.m., which shuts down late flights and early flights completely. But here's the part most people don't realize. You're not just limited to San Diego International Airport. There are actually a few other alternatives that locals use all the time, including myself. The Tijuana International Airport. So thanks to the CBX bridge, you could walk directly to Tijuana Airport from the US side. For trips to Cabo, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico City, and Guadalajara, basically anywhere in Mexico. Prices here are usually cheaper and the flights are more frequent. A ton of San Diegans use it for vacations, including myself. And then we got Carlsbad Airport. This one has come a long way. American and United now run flights out of there, and it's a game changer for people that live in North County. It's small, easy, and the security lines are basically non-existent. Right now, it only flies to a few locations, but they seem to be adding more routes as demand grows. And if you need the big international routes, LAX Airport is only about 2 hours away, at least on a good day. But if you're flying to like Europe, Asia, or other long-haul flights, it can definitely be worth the trek because they have a lot more nonstop flights there. Now, here's the part that most people never think about, and it's literally overhead every single day. Now, San Diego's famous sunshine comes with a serious trade-off. The city averages 266 sunny days a year and 3,628 hours of sunlight. Now, UV levels often reach 11, rated as extreme between May and July. That's why the melanoma rate here sits at 29.5 per 100,000 residents, roughly 31% higher than the national average. And it's not just numbers, you really feel it here. Your seatbelt burns your hand, black car seats heat up in minutes, Teslas, even with the tinted glass, turn into mini ovens by noon. The sun is constant and there's nowhere to hide from it. So sunscreen isn't optional here. SPF 30 or higher, reapplied every 2 hours, plus sunglasses and shade if you have kids. Because that endless sunshine everyone dreams about, it's beautiful, but it demands respect. Now, there's one thing I didn't expect when I first moved to San Diego, and honestly, it changed my whole view of what a community can really feel like. And just for reference, I grew up in the suburbs of Philadelphia, and let's just say it wasn't exactly the most diverse place in the world. It had great people, great food, great sports, but not a ton of variety in the day-to-day culture, at least where I lived. So coming to San Diego was a breath of fresh air. Out here, you meet people from everywhere. Mexico, the Philippines, India, Vietnam, Ethiopia, Middle East, Europe, Asia, the list goes on. San Diego is this steady mix of families, military, transplants, students, tech workers, and longtime locals who all bring their own traditions, languages, and stories. And you feel it every single day. In the neighborhoods, in the schools, and especially in the food. You can grab legit tacos in National City, Lebanese food in El Cajon, pho in Mira Mesa, sushi all over Convoy, and fresh seafood up and down the coast. And each area has its own flavor, literally and figuratively. And here's the part most people don't realize until they live here. San Diego isn't one giant city. It's a collection of neighborhoods, each with its own identity. When I first moved here, I pretty much thought every town was like Encinitas. But along the coast, you've got Encinitas, Del Mar, Ocean Beach, Pacific Beach, all totally different from one another. And inland, Mira Mesa is one of the most diverse spots in Southern California. Poway feels like a tight-knit small town, La Mesa has the best Main Street charm, and Scripps Ranch is quiet and residential. North County brings even more variety with Carlsbad, Vista, San Marcos, and Escondido, each with its own culture, demographics, and personality. Downtown neighborhoods like Little Italy, North Park, South Park, and Barrio Logan have their own rhythm and identities too. You got different people, different cultures, different lifestyles, all inside the same county. Now, if we could just get more than one major sports team, we'd be all set. Well, guys, there you have it. The 7 things that separate those who thrive in San Diego from those who struggle. San Diego offers an incredible lifestyle that's hard to match anywhere else in the country. But success here requires understanding the real costs and challenges up front. Now, if you're serious about making San Diego your home in 2026, don't navigate this one alone. I've helped hundreds of families successfully make this transition. And I'd love to help you avoid this expensive mistakes and find the neighborhood that's perfect for your lifestyle and your budget. So shoot me an email at bern@off56.com. So reach out and let's start planning your success story now. And speaking of things that catch people off guard, there's a whole other layer of stuff that most agents won't share with you. I'm talking about the hidden costs that can completely blow up your budget. So make sure you click on the video I have linked right here. It's the insider knowledge that'll save you from some seriously expensive mistakes. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.